welcome to the Bowl of Fun. I'm Taryn Wire.
And I'm Anna, the sous chef and the taste tester.
Well, good. Hello, everybody. And now today we're going to talk about meatballs. When you hear the word meatballs, you may think about your traditional Italian meatballs over spaghetti with sauce. But today we are going to spice it up a little bit. The first one we're going to do is Thai pork meatballs. So, the first thing you need to do is have a bowl. And we have 1 pound of ground pork. So I will put this into our bowl, and Anna, you can start mashing this all together.
With my hands?
With your hands. There we are.
It's cold.
It is cold. Now what we're going to do next is chop up some fresh cilantro. And we need about 3 tablespoons of fresh cilantro. What I like to do is just gather it all up into a nice little ball, and then it's much easier to cut. Here's our 3 tablespoons of fresh chopped cilantro. There you go. Start mixing that all together, sweetheart. And now we have 3 tablespoons of fresh chopped basil. Love the smell of fresh chopped basil. You could use dried basil if you wish. However, you're going to get the most flavor out of the fresh chopped basil.
This is getting all into the meat. Because that's how meatballs are made. It's not the kind of the real meatballs. We're just making different meatballs.
That's right. So now we are 3 tablespoons of fresh chopped basil. Now we need 2 green onions. Now when you're using green onions, feel free to use the tops, the green, and also the bottoms, the white. The white part's just going to be a little bit stronger flavor than the green section. Are you meshing it all together with your hands?
Yep.
Perfect.
And then you're going to pour that in.
Yes, I'm going to pour this in now. There you are. The next thing that we need is grated ginger. I like to keep my ginger in the freezer. This is where I keep the whole ginger. It will keep forever in the freezer. You don't have to worry about it spoiling. And then what I do is I use a microplane, either out of your husband's work shed or you can go to the kitchen store and buy it. And then it grates nicely into the bowl when it's frozen. So here we are, our fresh grated, look, smell that, Anna, isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
It smells like Thai pork meatballs. There we go. Look at that. I'll shake it off a little bit. And then the leftover piece goes right back into the bag and back into the freezer for next time. Now the last 2 ingredients that we need are fish sauce and lime juice. Now the fish sauce has a very strong smell to it, and so you might be turned off when you first smell it, but the smell will cook away and the flavor will stay. And it's a really nice, strong flavor. Finally is some fresh lime juice. There we are. And I'm just going to squeeze this right into the bowl as Anna keeps mashing. Excellent. There we are. The pink of the pork and the beautiful green color from the cilantro and the basil and green onions. It's just beautiful. Now Anna's going to keep mashing this up together. We're going to wash our hands and we'll come right back. All right, I'm back. My hands are all washed. Now it's time to shape the meatballs. Are you ready? Now we're going to make 12 meatballs out of this. So let's take a little sections. And after you shape your meatball, you're going to put it into a grill pan or a nonstick skillet coated with some cooking spray. So any size meatball you like, we're going to try to get 12 because that's just a nice size. And then put that right into the grill pan.
I'll give you some meat.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. This is a great recipe to have your kids help because they can do so many things with this recipe between mashing up the meat with all the spices and the herbs and forming the meatballs. If you want to get fun, you can always make different shapes of meatballs. You can make different sizes.
And you can make squares or diamonds too.
Squares or diamonds, that's right. You can make any shape you want. That's right. And if you have an egg press, you could always make a special character shape out of it too. An egg press can be found at your local Asian food store. All right. I think we're doing a good job, aren't we? When you make your meatballs, make sure that they're about the same size and so they cook evenly. If you have one big and one small, the small one's going to get done first and it might get overdone. All right, let's get these all mixed together. Okay, now we have our 12 meatballs all put together. I'm going to put this on the stovetop on medium-high heat and cook until the meatballs are cooked through.
Let's count.
Okay, 1,
1,
2,
2,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
12.
We got our 12 meatballs, medium-high heat until the meatballs are cooked through. Now, while our Thai pork meatballs are on the grill pan, let's make our side of corn. Now, this corn recipe, Anna, is super duper easy. Are you ready? I bet you could do this all by yourself. Want to try? Okay. So we need a saucepan, and we need 2 packages of frozen corn. Now, do you know how to dump frozen corn into a saucepan? Mm-hmm. Okay, you go ahead. Here's 2. And the corn ends up all over my counter, which is just fine. Put that away over there. Perfect. Now the next thing we need is a 1/4 cup of water. Do you know how to pour water into a pan? Okay, so far she's doing pretty good. Excellent. Then we need a 1/4 cup of butter. You don't even need to soften it first. All right, you have your washed hands, right? There you go. And then we need some fresh minced parsley. Now, you could certainly
cut.
Just a minute. You certainly bring out a knife for this if you wish. Otherwise, you can use some kitchen shears and just cut it right into the saucepan. Doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be good. Right, Anna?
Can I cut?
Well, I'm going to cut this one for you, just so you don't cut off your fingers. There you go. Yeah. So there's our parsley. Now we're going to add 2 teaspoons of salt.
I know there's lots of.
And this is a combination of a teaspoon of dill weed, a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of dried thyme, and a 1/2 teaspoon of Italian seasoning. Dump that right in there, Peanut. Perfect. And that's it. Now, everything is in here. We have our corn, our seasonings, our butter, and our salt. This Parmesan is for the end. That's what we're going to sprinkle on top when it's all done. So while our Thai pork meatballs are still on the grill pan, we're going to get this cooking. We're going to put it on the stove.
That was fast.
I know. We're going to get this on the stove, cover it up, let it simmer until the corn is tender, and everything will be ready together.
Mommy.
Welcome back. The next thing we're going to make is Caesar salad meatballs. So, not just your typical Italian meatball, these are going to be Caesar salad meatballs. The first thing we want to start off with is 1 pound of ground chicken. So I'm going to give this to my meatball queen over here, and she's going to start mixing it together with her hands. The next thing we're going to add is 2 tablespoons of Caesar dressing. You can either make your own or you can buy it. And then, what is Caesar salad without Parmesan? We're going to add 1/2 cup of Parmesan, fresh grated Parmesan. And then we also need 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. I'll squeeze this right in here. Yum. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Now the next thing we need is 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs. Now what I like to do is get out my chopper and find my heels of my bread that are typically our family doesn't eat. And I put them right into my chopper. And I keep these heels of the bread in a bag in the freezer. So then they are ready to go when I need them. And I put them in my chopper, I'll plug it in. And we're going to make our own breadcrumbs. How's that look? Perfect. There we are, whole wheat breadcrumbs. Nice and easy. So 1/4 cup of that into Anna's bowl. And while she's mixing that up, I've sprayed a nonstick skillet with some cooking spray. Keep mixing. Excellent job. Let's take a smell. Ooh, it smells like Caesar salad. Now what we're going to do is Anna has already mixed this up really, really nice. Everything is combined really well. We are going to form 12 meatballs. Let's start doing that.
This time I'm doing it.
Okay. All right, here's our last meatball. Thank you, Anna. We're going to put them into the skillet. Then while we wash our hands, we're going to put this on the stovetop over medium-high heat and cook them until the chicken is cooked through. We'll be right back. Now while our Caesar meatballs are on the stovetop, what goes better with Caesar salad than?
Croutons.
Croutons, that's right. And we're going to make our own version of croutons. These are going to be cheesy thyme popovers. They're nice and light and fluffy and airy without all the carbohydrates. Let's get started. And Anna is going to operate a blender. So the first thing we're going to do is take 1 cup of flour and add 1 cup of milk. There you are. And then we're going to add 3 large eggs. And while I add the eggs, Anna's going to start to stir ever so gently. Nice and gentle. There's 1, 2, 3. Excellent. And to that, for our flavor, we're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of thyme. You want to add the thyme? Perfect. The next thing we need is 2 tablespoons of melted butter. I'm going to go ahead and melt this butter. All right, now our butter is melted. We'll pour that right in. It's really hot. You can stir that together, sweetheart.
It looks like popovers.
It looks like popovers, that's right. Now the next thing we're going to do...
Smell it.
Okay, smell? Perfect. Now let me help you mix this up real quick. Excellent.
Mix it some more.
You sure can. Let me just help a little bit. We want to make sure those eggs get all mixed in there nice and good. We don't want to have scrambled eggs in our popovers, do we? No.
I just chopped up the eggs up.
All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to pour this into our blender.
Can I pour it in?
I'll pour it in, and do you want to push the button?
What button?
The
Do I have
button.
to push up?
You can push up or down. Now putting it into the blender is going to make sure that that flour is nice and incorporated and not clumpy. So I'll bring this over here for Anna. No, don't touch it yet. Let me put the lid on. Otherwise it'll go all over the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll land on us.
That's right. So why don't you go ahead and push the button. Keep going. One more. You can even make a little song out of the blender if you'd like to. Say, happy birthday to you. All right. Now we have it all nice and incorporated. I'm going to have Anna start on the cheese. Now, I said these are cheesy time popovers. One trick to this is buying some cheddar string cheese. It's already cut in one direction for the cube, so we just have to cube it the other direction. Let me see if I can get this open here. There we go. All right, now I have a string cheese, cheddar string cheese. Anna's going to cut it into cubes for me, so about that size. Perfect, Anna. And we're going to cut enough for 12 popovers. Yep. So you can do that one into sixes maybe.
3,
And if there's any left over, you can always eat it.
4, 5, 6.
Okay, you can keep going.
This one's left over.
Well, you can keep going. Use the whole thing. Now, while she's doing that, I'm going to take our mixture and pour it into a muffin tin coated with cooking spray. We're going to fill it about halfway.
I did 10.
10? Perfect. Do 2 more, though. We need 12 total, and whatever's left over, you can go ahead and eat.
1, 2.
I can hear those Caesar meatballs, can't you?
Yeah.
I smell them. They smell so delicious. I can smell the Parmesan and the Caesar.
4, 5,
There we go.
6.
Just a little bit
I
left.
did 6.
Okay, now what Anna can do
Mom,
next.
it says
Left over? Okay. Now
I'm
what
gonna
we
eat it now.
sounds good. Now what we're going to do is take each of these cubes and put it into each muffin tin right in the middle. Add a little bit more to that one. There we go. Okay. Perfect.
Oh,
Thank-
that one sank.
It sank down in the batter, didn't it?
I
Okay, now
can't see it.
I know. Now we have our cheese cubes in each of our 4 muffin holes.
That
We're gonna
was
put-
funny.
It is funny. Now we're going to put this in the oven at 425 for approximately 20 minutes. And then we're going to reduce the heat to 350 and cook another 15 minutes. Now what's going to happen is as these are cooking, the popovers are going to pop right up like a pretty cupcake. And it's be nice and light and airy. So let's go put these in the oven, okay? We'll be right back.
Mommy, it's just like the Titanic.
Sinking like the Titanic? That's right. We'll be right back. Now our Thai pork meatballs are cooked through and our corn is nice and hot. Should we dish this up to see how it tastes? Perfect. Now in here I have rice. This is a rice cooker. You can buy this at your local department store or even online. And you can cook a large batch of rice at one time.
Mom, Steve.
Steam. And if you have leftover, put it into a quart-sized freezer bag into the freezer and it will freeze beautifully. The next time you need some rice, you can take it out of the freezer, put it into a dish, and microwave it covered for about 2 to 3 minutes, and you'll have nice, fresh rice. So let's
Can I
get this.
see it?
Yes, let me get you a nice. You like rice, don't you? Do you want a nice big scoop?
Oh, that's
Yum.
so pretty.
That's beautiful. Now let me get our corn.
I'm catching this thing.
Let's be careful. I have a very hot pan, and this is our beautiful corn, herbed corn. There we are.
It popped in my rice.
Popped in your rice, and let's dish up some meatballs. How many meatballs should we have?
12.
How about just 2 to start with? How does that sound?
Mommy, I
huh?
was just talking about how many we made.
That is how many we made. Now, would you like to take a taste right there? Why don't you take a taste of that meatball right there and see what you think with the rice?
Go.
That's good. Thai pork meatballs. Now, why don't you take a little taste of that corn? Now, the corn is very hot. Let's take a little taste, shall we? Make sure you blow on it. Go ahead. The butter, the thyme. It's absolutely delicious. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. I'm Taryn Wire. You can get these recipes and more at bearwoodspoon.blogspot.com. And joining me is...
I'm Anna, the sous chef and the taste tester.
See you next time.